Renaissance woman as well, just like her predecessor, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Abby Stein is the first openly transgender woman raised in a Hasidic community. The native New Yorker happens also to be a direct descendant of Hasidic Judaism's founder, Baal Shem Tov. Now, she's on a mission to support others in the Orthodox community make the transition and find their soul's purpose. Hello and welcome. So great to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. I just want to say I don't think I'm anything related to RBG. She's too great.
Think about it. She was born in 33. She did all of these things that women have never been able to do, not caring what people think, and I think that you fall in that category.
I take it as a compliment, but I think it's a bit too much, but okay.
Okay. You're not worthy, right?
Not yet. Maybe one day.
So being born genetically as a man, you knew even from a young age that it didn't matim your soul. It didn't fit
not
your
who
soul.
I am.
How did you realize that, and what did you do about it being so young at the time?
That's very interesting. I think most LGBTQ people in general, so not even trans people, even gay people, like a lot of people have this moment that we call aha moment. Like it's like a switch flipping, and you're like, oh my God, this is what's going on. I don't really remember a moment where like, oh my God, I'm a girl. I remember thinking when I was 3 and 4 years old, I'm a girl, yeah, for sure, but why does everyone think something else? Now, I can put it into terms if I want to. Like, I can give you a list of examples of what I felt, how I interacted with it. I usually don't want to do that because I always say it's very hard to know how much of this is, oh, this is what it means to be a woman, and how much of it was, I liked certain things. Let's say I like the color red, which I always did. But was that because that's what it means to be a woman? I don't think so.
Right.
So it's possible that I liked it. It's possible that my brain was like, this is feminine, therefore like it. But my brain was definitely feminine.
Right.
That's
so then
what you should like.
At what age did you realize, okay, this is something that I have to do something about it, and how did you communicate it to your family? I mean, obviously, you're growing up in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. It's not exactly liberal East Village, Manhattan. I mean, you're really in the heart of it. I mean, how was that experience of having to be open about what was going on?
So I wasn't open for a very long time. Until I was 20, I didn't know there's other transgender people in the world, period. Wow. I had different ways of dealing with it. When I was 9 years old, I used to say a prayer every night before I went to bed. We would say the Shema, bedtime prayers, and I would add a prayer, God, I want to wake up as a girl. Wow. When I was 15 was actually the first time when I was studying Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, and I studied specifically in Shara Gugalim, which talks about souls and reincarnation, and it was another time where for the first time I found that who you are and your soul and maybe the body that you were in might not always add up. So these were all ways that kept me going for a long time. Right. My final punchline was when my ex started expecting my son, and we were about to have a kid, and for me that became...
So you got married?
Oh, I got married when I was 18, which is pretty much the standard in the Hasidic community. Yeah, and throughout this time, I was doing different things. I was very into Kabbalah at some point. I was working on my rabbinical degree, which for me was also just a way of getting away from myself and trying to work with it. And I was constantly, we call that in the LGBTQ community, pray the gay away. We're just trying to do something and hoping it's going to go away, but it never does.
Right.
And ultimately, I think the thought of having a son, and I think every parent knows this thought of, oh my God, I'm going to be really bad as a parent. And part was that I'm not even who I am. How can I even think of being a parent? And that was the final punchline where I was like, I got to do something about this.
So since then, you've gone through this journey, which is never ending, because I just asked you, I said, so, you know, when did the transition happen? But it never ends. It's a journey.
I think we are all on a journey in our life. The day we end our life journey, we can go.
We make an agreement with God when we incarnate. The whole life is a journey. It never stops.
It never stops.
So given that, you've clearly found your purpose, and you're working with others to help make that transition for others that also don't know that it exists, that there are LGBTQ people in the world. So tell us about your work and what you've accomplished.
I'm doing a few things. I've done a lot of first basic awareness, raising awareness, talking about it, which includes talking about the media. I've given over 150 speeches all over the world in the last 2.5 years. I have put together a curriculum looking on gender within Judaism. The goal of these are a fewfold. So like there's the part where I want to make sure that every 12-year-old child in the Hasidic community or anywhere in the world knows that if they are struggling with this is an option, and there's something they should look into, and they can actually find help. I want to make sure that people who are coming out, people are transitioning, whatever it is, in Ultra-Orthodox Judaism, in anywhere in the world know their options, know that they can find support, know that people love them. But also as a whole, I think we have to change this narrative of this doesn't go with Judaism, which has also been a very big part. I'm not trying to tell people to be religious. I'm the last person to be insecure. I don't care what people do in their private life. But if you want to be involved with your spiritual tradition, religion, whatever that is, know that that is possible.
Right.
And I'm doing whatever I can to let people know that.
The most interesting thing is you're staying true to traditional, Judaism, which
to some extent, not fully, to some extent.
To some extent, exactly, to the best extent that you can. But I mean, how is there an opening even to work within the communities where you have the elders that may not be able to deal with this to help just educate even the more conservative, stuck in their ways
within
people?
the Hasidic community at the moment? I wish I could say there is. I'm surprised in, let's call it the lay leadership, the lay people in the Hasidic community. I'm sometimes surprised by the amount of people who support me and support other people who are going through similar transitions. But unfortunately, the leadership, I don't see that happening anytime soon, which is sad. I will obviously continue working, but at the moment, my focus is a lot more
You're picking the battle that you could win. This is going to be generations before this gets tackled.